Good morning. My name is Rabbi Chaim Belyak. I'm the volunteer executive director of Friends of Jewish Renewal in Poland. I'm very pleased to be presenting to you one of a series of programs that we've entitled Freighted Legacies. This is an opportunity for us to bring to you the culture and history of the Jewish experience in Poland. It's a conversation that takes place in dual language track. And I'm going to bring to your attention right now the fact that if you're joining us, we are at this moment inviting your attention to the bottom of your screen where you need to choose either English or Polish. And I'm going to, at this time, turn to my co-host, the chair of Beit Polska, the progressive Jewish organization, to bring you greetings. And then in a few moments, I'll be introducing our speaker, Neal Brostoff, who will be presenting a wonderful program in honor of Hanukkah and part of the cultural legacy of the Jewish experience in Poland, entitled The Curious Story of Polish-Yiddish Tangos. Marek, may I invite you to invite our greetings from you.
Yes, welcome, and welcome from Warsaw, Poland, in fact, from the community here, but also from my family home, where we have already lit the first two candles, or the first important candle of the Hanukkah, with my grandchildren and some of my children as well. And I am a bit satiated with first latkes that I've tried already. So I won't fall asleep, because we are in for an exciting presentation, discussion of a rich cultural phenomenon of tangos that have been created in the Polish lands by the Jewish community here, or representatives of a Jewish community, particularly in the interwar years. And we will be asking Neal Brostoff to give us that, I could say, magisterial discussion of the topic. So that's briefly all from me. Particularly take it as Chag Sameach, Hanukkah Sameach greeting from all of us here across the ocean in the old country. And handing over to you, Chaim, before we hand over to Neal, we'd like to hear a short discussion of Neal's credentials for delivery of this talk. Welcome, Neal. Welcome, everyone.
So it is a privilege to introduce Neal Brostoff, who is not a stranger to the love of music, of course, but especially to the love of the music that has been produced in Poland. He has taught and performed at the music departments of ethnomusicology from 2011 to 2016 at the University of California in Los Angeles. He has served in many capacities in the music department at Loyola Marymount University, and his credentials are, of course, in the flyer that we have circulated amongst many friends. I would say that more personally, Neal has taken his time to participate in concerts in Poland. In fact, soon after COVID and the return of more public life, we look forward to welcoming him in Poland for a series of concerts. Multifaceted, interested in music, both the popular music and what we would call the art music of Poland. I have been privileged to work with him on several concerts where we have created the popular and synagogue music opportunities that have brought many of the cantorial soloists that we've trained in Poland together with American Jewish audiences on the West Coast and in Chicago. And Neal has been really generous with his time, enthusiastic with his ideas, flexible, which is a great virtue. He's one of the great souls of the Jewish world and the music world. And I'm very pleased to welcome him. And we are going to have a great time as we learn what is entitled The Curious Story of Polish-Yiddish Tangos. And it's just in time for Hanukkah. Neal?
Dziękuję. Thank you for your warm introduction, Chaim, and to all of you. And depending on where you are in the world and what your primary language is, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon. I'd like to say dobry wieczór, erev tov. So I think that probably covers all of the language groups. I also want to thank Chaim and all of the individuals who are active in Friends of Jewish Renewal, Beit Polska, for inviting me to speak about this very, very interesting topic, which has really gained traction in about maybe the last 20 years or so, a research area really that has been attracting increasing attention, again, as I said, during the past 20 years or so, and that is Polish-Yiddish tangos. So the tango is a fascinating and sultry dance with gorgeous music and tantalizing erotic dance steps. From the brothels and slums of late 19th century Buenos Aires, the tango is no ordinary dance. It is rather a game of seduction with unbridled displays of male machismo and equally strong female control. We know that it is not uncommon for the sheer joy and ecstasy of interpersonal relations to be diluted or eviscerated by clinical, perhaps, analyses of those dynamics. Some obvious examples that come to mind are sexual intimacy and child rearing. The sensual tango is similarly vulnerable. This most unique dance is chock full of academic probing, examining and deconstructing what is going on in the male and female psyches while engaged in the dance. However, it may be interesting to extrapolate a broader dynamic of socio-political dominance and subservience. So Jewish tangos during the Holocaust, for example, may be seen as a metaphor for dominance, acquiescence, helplessness, and hopelessness. In the popular Warsaw Ghetto songs Papierosan and Yisrolik, the innocence of childhood ratchets up the issues of survival, toughness, and cries of, I'm an orphan, but don't feel sorry for me. Was the Yiddish tango the ultimate protest meme? A song and dance of courage in the face of overwhelming adversity? You can decide for yourself. By contrast, the Yiddish tangos of heartbreak and despair may be seen as Jewish counterparts to present-day Latin American telenovelas. Again, that's for you to decide. We'll see examples of these various types of tangos plus more. Tango is the love child of a delicious cross-cultural melange of immigrants in Buenos Aires from Africa, Cuba, Spain, Italy, England, Poland, and Russia. Therefore, the Polish-Jewish Argentinian connection is not so mysterious, considering the number of Polish-Jewish immigrants to Buenos Aires beginning in the late 1880s, increasing in the 1920s and 30s. A number of Polish-Jewish immigrants were active as tango musicians, as composers, violinists, and bandoneon players. The bandoneon is a button accordion that was invented in Germany and became one of the main instruments in tango music. You will recognize it when you see it and hear it. Ethnomusicologists point to klezmer music influences on tango. Tango was exported to Paris with live orchestral performances and to Eastern Europe by way of recordings. Significantly, the largest Polish recording company, Syrena Records, was founded in 1904 by Julius Feigenbaum. And as Syrena ignited that Eastern European interest, it is not surprising that the tango scene in Poland was fluid, with Polish language tunes that were reimagined as Jewish, along with Yiddish language tangos that were translated into Polish. During the Holocaust, Yiddish tangos, not surprisingly, were considered by the Nazis to be entartete Musik, degenerate music. But the beauty of the music and the socio-cultural subtexts of power and virility only amplified the song's popularity. To refresh your memory of Argentinian tangos, we'll watch the scene from the 2008 British film Easy Virtue, in which the actress Jessica Biel, ignored by her new husband, dances a tango with her father-in-law, the actor Colin Firth. The tango, Por una cabeza, is by the famed Argentinian tango composer Carlos Gardel. The lion's share of composers and singers of popular music in intra-war Poland were Jews. Some of these musicians also rose to prominence with tangos, particularly Mieczysław Fog, Jerzy Petersburski, and Henryk Wars. The standout was Wars, who survived the Shoah and emigrated to the United States in 1947. His 1928 hit song, Zatańczmy Tango, Let's Dance a Tango, is believed to have created the impetus for the tango craze in Poland. We'll hear a lot more of Wars's talents soon. If you want to take a moment and look at the English translation of the lyrics, you can see that here. This is on an old archival 1978 shellac disc.
Mówi do mnie moja jedyna wyśniona, a tańcz mi tango, a tańcz mi tango, no szyję mocno mi zarzuć ramiona, zapomnieć pragnę o życiu złym, nie trzeba smucić się i płakać, mój maleńki, a tańcz mi tango, a tańcz mi tango, jak mocne wino, tak upoją się te dźwięki i wszystko będzie rozkosznym snem. A gdy jak tumon wino cię zamroży, w marzeniu słodkiem przymkniesz senne oczy i szepniesz dobry, świat jest i uroczy. Szczęśliwy jestem, tak blisko cię mam, a gdy ostatnia szklanka będzie pusta, na czolo twego rące złożę usta i twoje rąk powinie cię jak chusta, a zaraz ktoś tam głosów zagra nam. Mówi do mnie moja jedyna wyśniona, zatańcz mi tango, zatańcz mi tango, na szyję mocno mi zarzuć ramiona, zapomnieć pragnę o życiu złym, nie trzeba smucić się i płakać, mój maleńki, zatańcz mi tango, zatańcz mi tango, jak mocne wino, tak upoją się te dźwięki i wszystko będzie rozkosznym snem. Mówi do mnie moja jedyna wyśniona, zatańcz mi tango, zatańcz mi tango, na szyję mocno mi zarzuć ramiona, zapomnieć pragnę po życiu złym. Nie trzeba smucić się i płakać, mój maleńki, zatańcz mi tango, zatańcz mi tango, jak mocne wino, tak upoją się te dźwięki i wszystko będzie rozkosznym snem.
The reigning star of Polish-Yiddish Tangos is a talented Polish singer, Olga Mieleczuk, who recently converted to Judaism, emigrated to Israel, but who now performs internationally. We'll see Olga's artistry in 3 beautiful love songs. The first one, Rivkele, makes a strong statement about Jewish identity. Then in the sentimental love ballad, To Ostatnia Niedziela, The Last Sunday, Olga sings the song in Polish alongside a vocal partner, Mendy Kahan, alternating lines in Yiddish, while Graj, Kashipku Graj, is sung in Polish and Hebrew. Spiel mir a liedele in Yiddish, or Sing Me a Little Song in Yiddish, is another one of my favorites. We see the divine Miss M, Mieleczuk, singing at a festival in Warsaw while people are dancing.
Zum ersten Mal hat ihr gesehen und ihr gebeten allein, wenn hat häufen das Gewalt. Und seit schon dann fleckt nicht noch treten, oft nur bei ihr gebeten, sei mein, ich schied die Gott mit Gott. Ich bin der Poritz fin ganzen Städtel, leg dein Kapzon, ich kleidel, wart, aber ich malke, mach ich dir, ich will gar von dir, gar a kleinem Naden, sollst du sich vor mir abschmaden, in meine Palazze nehm ich dich zu sich. Ui, du mein Bescherte, deine süße Werte, sonnen so schön wie du. Aber Tante Mame und das ganze Städte schelten wollen mir. Rifkele die Kleine, die Znies die Geschene, ist entlaufen mit der Goi. Und uns steht der Schul, gar in der Kloster dort, will ich nur sein, ihr frei. Ein Junge, a Gewalt, a Geschrei, in Städte leu das Bett sein, sehr greu. Der Tate, Mama, es weint, der Bruder, Schwester und euch, die ganze Heut. Das ist mein Bescherte, seine süße Werte sollen bleiben heilig rein. Aber unsere Liebe, unsere heilige Liebe soll bloß a Cholem sein.
just a word before we go on. I should have added that Olga Mielochuk is not only a wonderful performer, but she's a first-rate scholar. She has researched this music. She really, it's not that people have said, oh, here are these tangos, and you're interested in Jewish music, so here they are, sing them. No, she has gone and found them and really studied them and has added really added a lot to the conversation about this genre. The other thing is, I hope you noticed and recognized the sound of the bandoneon, that small button accordion that is so important in tango music. So the next song, as I mentioned, is To Ostatnia Niedziela, and then one more. This is a very long text, a lot of really, it's just so full of lyrics. I couldn't show this and the performance together. So here is just an English translation of the lyrics, and then we'll listen to the song in a moment.
זה שיר שקיים גם בפולנית וגם ביידיש. Gekommen ist du als Zweiter, ich seh ihm und Gater, beruhigt unter mir, sei wie sei. Nur in Bakosche will ich der Lange, eine ist nicht zu viel. Gibst mir noch ein Schabes, dem letzten Schabes, der noch sollst du gehen, wie du willst. Es ist der Schabes, der letzte, jeder mir sich zu schämen, soll es sein von uns trennen, das letzte Mal. Wir beruhigt an das Leben, treib mich aus von allein, ich bin oft nun allein, weinen und nachkommen.
Będziesz jeszcze radośnie niedziel miała, a co ze mną będzie, cóż to wiem.
Bei Hoblach schenkte mir noch ein Schabes, nur dem letzten Schabes, und noch vorbei. Schenkte mir noch ein Schatz,
Przez całą noc swe serce daj i wrażeń moc. Niech skrzypce łkają, czarowne tango grają. Za twoją grę dam życie swe. A co ani się zuchor na genchemiali mej gaguim, ale ragon si fiat dron kiliot leibam veretet gaguim, alla hava doleket też na genchanar meshoch hakeshet idmakinor ivka meitar al naraton meyueshet. A אני ספרנה לי על אהבה וסוד תקווה, יופי ואושר, עלי זכר ויושר, אמת ואור שאין עמוד. Graj skrzypko, graj przez całą noc, swe serce daj i wrażeń moc. Niech skrzypce łkają, czarowne tango grają. Za twoją grę dam życie swe.
I want to make a comment on Rabbi Beliak's words about the transgressive power of music and dance. Very, very interesting, provocative point. And one of the things I enjoyed in making my presentation wasn't only the music, but the creativity of the people who uploaded the songs together with their own videos of mostly photos, still photos of a life in intra-war Poland. And we could see, we get a clearer picture beyond the music of people dancing and of nightclubs and so on. And of course, recordings with Serena Records that goes back to 1904. So it was a lively and wonderful popular music scene in this recently pretty much vanished world. Moving on to one more song with Olga singing. Yiddish popular songs, some of which were conceived of as tangos, while others were later tangoized, had their origins in the American Yiddish theater. It's interesting that Yiddish theater, a popular Jewish music entertainment genre, began in Europe, was transplanted to the Lower East Side of New York City, and then returned to the ghettos of the camps during the Holocaust. Papi Rosen by Herman Yablokov, Frühling by Shmerke Kaczerginski and Avram Brudno, and Ich hab dich zu viel lieb, or I love you much too much, by Alexander Olshanetsky and Chaim Tauber, are three of the best-known popular Yiddish tangos. We'll hear Papi Rosen sung by the talented native Argentinian tango specialist, Zuli Goldfarb. Frühling is sung by another Argentinian who now lives in Vienna, Paula Berenbaum. In the last song of the set, Ich hab dich zu viel lieb, we hear the vocal talents of Menachem Mirsky, a Polish-born Jew by choice and Beit Polska success story, who is now living in Israel for his third year of rabbinic studies at the Ziegler School in Los Angeles. The Ziegler School is the rabbinical, conservative Jewish rabbinical training school, which is an adjunct of American Jewish University in Los Angeles. He sings the song in Polish. I'd like you to hear the earlier pre-tango versions first of Papi Rosen and Frühling, respectively, before the spicier tango inflected renditions. So we'll hear the folk song version of Papi Rosen, and then the tango version, same with Frühling, and then Menachem singing Ich hab dich zu viel lieb.
Nacht am Nebel die Gefinsterung steht ein Engel vertreuert und guckt sich herum. Von Reden schützt den Wand, der keusche halt in Hand, in seine Augen betten jeden Stumm. Ich wollte schon nicht ein Keuch mehr umzugehen in Gas, umgelegen, abgerissen von dem Regen nass. Die Schlepper sich von Baginen, keiner geht nicht zu verdienen. Alle lachen, machen von mir Spaß. Kupiti, koimje, papierose, Druckene von der Regen nicht vergossen. Billig bin, der Munis kauft und hat euch mir auf Munis. Ratte wird, fin Hunger mich hat ziehen. Kupiti, koimje, schweba nach Antike. Der mir wird hier ein Rosenmut der Quicke. Du siehst mein Schreien und mein Läufen, keiner will bei mir nicht kaufen. Wenn ich muss wie ein Hund. Ich habe gehabt, das Schwester und ein Kind von die Natur. Mit mir zusammen sich geschleppt hat sie Adat zu mir. Mit ihr gewähnt ist mir viel geringer, leichter werden pflegt das Hinger, wenn ich pflege abgucktunen oder viel. Ich habe gewohnt, bis ich war, sehr krank. In meine Hände sie gestorben, vergaßen mein. Und als ich hab sie verloren, hab ich alles ungewollt. So getäut, schön komm ehrlich zu mir. Du bitte wird von Hunger mich erzählen. Du bist der Freund des Schweben an Kiegen, der mir wird die Leiosko verkriegen. Und es ist mein Schreien und mein Läufen, keiner will bei mir nicht käufen. Es geht, wer ich muss,
Dann neväldige finster Tum, steht ein Engel vertreuert und guckt sich herum. Von Reden Stimmen an der Wand, a Koschig lalter in Hand, und seine Augen beten jeden stumm. Ich hab schon nicht kein Kojach mehr herumzugehen in Gas, ungerig und abgerissen von dem Regennass. Ich schlepp sich vom Baginen, keiner geht mir zu verdienen. Alle lachen, machen von mir Spaß. Hupitie, Käufche, Papyrosen, Druckene von Regen nicht vergossen. Hoi schon billig Benemones, hoi tu not auf mir Rachmones, Ratet von Hunger mich hat sehen. Hupitie, Käufche, Schwebalachantiken, damit Boss vera Josel der Gwicken. Sie ist mein Schreien und mein Läufen, keiner will bei mir nicht kaufen. Heus gehen will ich musen wie ein Hund. Mein Tate in Milchome und verloren seine Hände. Meine Mame hat die Zores, mehr euch halt nicht gekannt. Jung in Käfer sie getrieben, bin ich heute der Welt verblieben, unglücklich und elend wie ein Stein. Hupitie, Käufche, Papyrosen, Druckene von Regen nicht vergossen. Hoi schon billig Benemones, hoi tu not auf mir Rachmones, Ratet von Hunger mich hat sehen. Hupitie, Käufche, Schwebalachantiken, damit Boss vera Josel der Gwicken. Sie ist mein Schreien und mein Läufen, keiner will bei mir nicht kaufen. Heus gehen will ich musen wie ein Hund.
Blanche in Ghetto, von Gessel zu Gessel, und kann nicht gewinnen kein Ort. Nicht da ist mein Lieber, wie tragt man nach rüber, Menschen sagt Rotsch a Wort. Es leicht auf mein Heim ist der Himmel, der Bläuer, Wasche hab ich jetzt davon. Ich geh wie ein Bettler, Poet wird teuer, und ich bettel a bissal Sonn. Frühling, nimm zu mein Treuen und bring meine Liebsten, mein Treuen zurück. Frühling, oi bring es zu mein Glück. Frühling auf deine Flügelbläue, oi nimm mein Herz mit, oi bring es zu mein Glück. Es heuer der Frühling or Freiing gekimmen, so blieb hat sich Bänkschaft nach dir. Ich seh dich wie Itzter, Balladen mit Blumen, freudiger gehst du zu mir. Die Sonne hat vergossen die Welt heim mit Strom, so sprotzt hat die Erde sich in Grün. Mein Treuer, mein Liebster, wie bist du verfallen? Du gehst nicht heraus von mein Heim. Frühling, denn zu mein Treuen, bring meine Liebsten, mein Treuen zurück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, oi, nimm mein Herz mit, oi, bring es mein Glück. Heine mein Herz mit, ich bringe es zu mein Glück.
I failed to mention that the wonderful performer, the singer, and also very dedicated researcher is the Swedish-Jewish Bette Kahan, who has made her home in Wrocław for some time and is actively involved in musical activities at the White Stork Synagogue there.
Ich plunge in Ghetto von Gesel zu Gesel und kann nicht gefunden kein Ort. Nicht du ist mein Lieber, wie trog meiner Rieber, Menschen, so kost a Wort. Es läuft auf mein Heimitz der Himmel der Bläue, je hob Hitz der Fund. Ich steh wie a Bettler bei ihr dritten Teuer und hab Wiesele Sonn. Frühling, nimm zu mein Treue und bring mein Liebster, mein Treuen zurück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, nimm mein Herz mit und bring es zu mein Glück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, nimm mein Herz mit und bring es zu mein Glück. Ich geh zu der Arbeit, fahr bei unser Stiebel, in Treuer der Teuer vermacht
erzählt die Blumen verwelten, sie wienen vor uns in solchen Nacht. Vernacht euch zu Legacies, es euer Treue, und du bist der liebster Gewalt. Und da in den Schotten noch kennt ich dein Trottis, fleckt schon mich lieblich und zart. Zu mein Treue und bring mein Liebsten, mein Treuen zurück. Frühling, auf deine Flügel bläue, ohne mein Herz mit und bring es zu mein Glück. Frühling,
I think you'll agree that using the Chagall slides of Chagall paintings and Chagall-esque, Chagall-type paintings, I'm not sure that they were all Chagall, some were photoshopped, I think, with some other ideas, was a wonderful backdrop to this tangoized version of Frühling. So now again, zu Philippe with Menachem Mirsky, a wonderful music video that he made.
Adam tira dai, wabba ba 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 bye, wabba ba 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 bye, wabba ba 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 bye, ba badam tira dai, wabba ba 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 bye, wabba ba ba bi ba bye, yabba ba 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 bye. Ze wszystkich swoich sił kochałem cię, lecz wiedz, zbyt piękny czas to był, by nienawidzić cię. Dość już straciłem sił, by być na ciebie złym. Tak głupi jestem, wiem, nazbyt kochałem cię. I życie całe ci oddałem, i serce, i duszę całą. I jestem chory, lecz myśli moje zemsty żadnej nie szukają. Dość w tym straciłem sił, by być na ciebie złym. Tak głupi jestem, wiem, nazbyt kochałem cię. Ich hab dich zu viel lieb, ich trag auf dir kein Kass. Ich hab dich zu viel lieb, zu sein auf dir in Kass. hab dich zu viel lieb, zu sein auf dir Gorbes, Anna, ich weiß, ich hab dich zu viel lieb, hab dir mein Leben gegeben, mein Herz und meine Schomme, und ich bin krank, nur mein Gedank, trach nicht von mir kommen, weil ich hab dich so viel lieb, zu sein auf dir Gorbes, Anna, ich weiß, ich hab dich zu viel lieb. Wabba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bye, wabba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bye, wabba-ba-da-da-da-day, wabba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bye.
Henrik Vars wrote the outrageously cheeky or irreverent song Sex Appeal in 1937 with Polish lyrics. The song was later translated into Yiddish. We'll enjoy both versions.
Jesteście silni, mocni, my słaba płeć, lecz my mamy coś, co byście wy chcieli mieć. Co jest warta wasza siła, wasza pięść i twarda dłoń? My kobiety, choć słabiutkie, mamy na was jedną broń. Sex appeal to nasza broń kobieca, sex appeal to coś, co was podnieca. Wdzięk, styl, szarm, szyk, tym was zdobywamy w nich. O, jeden znak, a już nie wiecie sami co i jak. Wzdychacie godzinami, ech, och, uch, ach, i męczycie się, że strach. Jeden uśmiech, jedna minka, już każdy z was. Najtwardszy głaz od razu, grzeczny jest, serdeczny jest dla każdej z nas. Słaba płeć, a jednak najsilniejsza, słaba płeć, a jednak najmocniejsza. Wydźwięk, szyk, szarm, styl, nasza broń to sex appeal. Brylanty, ta futer puch. Inna znowu bereł sznur, a ja parę nóg. I na twarzy dwa dołeczki, ładne oczy, ładne brwi. To ważniejsze niż bogactwa, bo w tym wszystkim właśnie tkwi. Sex appeal to nasza broń kobieca, sex appeal to coś, co was podnieca. Wdzięk, styl, szar, szyk, tym was zdobywamy w mig. Jeden znak, a już nie wiecie sami co i jak. Wzdychacie godzinami, ech, och, uch, ach, i męczycie się, że strach. Jeden uśmiech, jedna minka, już każdy z was. Najtwardszy głaz od razu, grzeczny jest, serdeczny jest dla każdej z nas. Słaba płeć, a jednak najsilniejsza, słaba płeć, a jednak najmocniejsza. Styl, szarm, szyk, nasza broń to sex appeal.
The American composer and band leader Benjamin Amzelowitz, better known as Ben Burney, wrote the hit song Sweet Georgia Brown in 1925. Here's a fragment of the song. I'll explain in a moment while I'm sharing it with you. But I think I first promised, I had promised that I would play the Yiddish version of Sex Appeal for you, and I deprived you of that. So let's go back to that. Here it is.
Zwischen sich geschlechter Mann mit der Freude. Wie du mit Habit Schäfer tätig azoi. Lang Jür in kurzer Zeitung, also lassen in Abel. Nur genießt der Freude als Schmeichel, in der Mann verliebt sein Geld. Sex Appeal, mit dem sie freuen werden. Sex Appeal, das macht der Mann begehrt. Kein Reiz, Fremd, Schick, nehmen nach dem Augenblick. Oh, bleibt einen Wind und nie verliert im Eures. Schnell im Ring, bleibt ihr bei uns im Teufel. Ach, och, weh, oi, und es halt bei uns sich streu. Mein Aschmeichel reut den Teufel jeden von Ei. Alle men gleich nicht sein Hart, wie an es halte das ist ein Ohrenreich. Schwachste Freu, die starke Außeneisen, niedste Freu, du schönste Kunst beweisen. Kein Reis, Schiff, still, mein Gewehr ist Sex Appeal. Wer ist Reisen, wer ist Liebler, in wer ist sie? Wer hat eine dicke Riebler, ich schöne sie. Mein
And now we'll go to Sweet Georgia Brown. So now, the things that musicians and music scholars do, because we have so much time in our hands, well, here goes. Mel Brooks made a film, To Be or Not to Be, in 1983 as a remake of the 1942 film of the same name. The plot of the film involves a small-time theater in Warsaw during World War II. After the Nazi invasion, Frederick Bronski, played by Mel Brooks, and Anna, his unfaithful wife, attempt to make their theater a safe haven for Warsaw Jews and a pathway to the Polish underground. In a scene from the film, Brooks's co-star and wife, the late Anne Bancroft, sing the American popular song that we just heard the fragment of, Sweet Georgia Brown, in Polish. This song preceded Sex Appeal by 12 years. What's interesting to me is the uncanny resemblance of the second melody in Sex Appeal to the main tune of Sweet Georgia Brown. I'll guide you through this. So here is the fragment from the film, To Be or Not to Be, with Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft singing the song in Polish.
1939, Nazi troops mass on the western border of Poland. Europe stands precariously on the brink of World War II. But in Warsaw, despite the threat of imminent invasion, the Polish people forget their troubles at the Bronski Theater.
Jak się topić, to się topić, Sweet Georgie Brown. Tajca łusa, poleć w busa, Sweet Georgie Brown. Jak się zciepia, wtedy nie wie, Sweet Georgie Brown. Mój los dobrze znasz, ten co pewnie masz. Okej, mój kolega mnie ostrzega, ratusze pan. Ona z każdym panem ważnym ten co ma plan. Będzie biło serce twoje, piszej bracie zdrowie swoje. Georgie bija, Georgie żyja, spiry pyry Georgie Brown. Bom, 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 nasz kraj, Bobbido Brown. Bom, bom, divo, bom, bom, divo, bom, bom, bom. Baracz di babida bom, czy biba Bobby Brown. Mój los dobrze znasz, ten sam pewnie masz, okej. Bliżej bracie zdrowie swoje. Georgie bija, Georgie żyja, sweetie pretty Georgie Brown.
So you might have been able, I hope you were able to hear the similarity between Sweet Georgia Brown and the melody in Sex Appeal that is curious to me, their resemblance to each other. Finally, when Henrik Vars emigrated to America, he Americanized his name to Henry instead of Henrik and changed the spelling to V-A-R-S. He was soon on the road to become a successful composer of scores for television and motion pictures. Arguably the best known gig or job that he landed was writing the theme music for the 1960s TV series Flipper, about a playful dolphin. Here is the theme of Flipper, the theme music from Flipper.
They call him Flipper, Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea. Everyone loves the king of the sea, ever so kind.
Okay, there we have it. Thank you for your wonderful comments into chat. Some of the messages you might have seen were from Elizabeth Poniawska, who I got to know very well. She is a survivor from Poland, lives in Los Angeles, and is a student in the seniors program that I teach at Los Angeles Pierce College. And we've got to know each other rather well. I think she came to a screening of it could be Bogdan's journey, I'm not sure what, and she and Chaim and I had lunch together a few years ago. So, but she made wonderful comments and poignant things about remembering Grai Gashipsku Grai on the radio as a youngster and so on. So I am open to let's see what this last message is.
I think, Neal, you're receiving many compliments, worthy compliments. I think each of us have enjoyed the way you've put together this view into not only the tangos, but the confluence of the different forms of these songs and music that have come together. I can see why you have such a wonderful following at Pierce. I understand that you have hundreds of students that register for your classes. We are open to entertaining classes. We're also open to entertaining questions if there are people who would like to ask questions. While we're waiting for either, let me just promo, if that is the correct language, the upcoming event webinar in our December 12th Freighted Legacies series. On December 12th, we're going to welcome back the talented academic Lena Magnon, who is going to share with us just a little bit of her 1,100 page magnum opus, which tells in very, very interesting detail the story of how Freudian thought came to Poland, left Poland, and came back to Poland. This is a fantastic habilitation that she wrote. In Polish universities, when a person has reached their senior academic work, and Lena has done this at a very young age, they write what's called the habilitation. And we're going to get a chance to peek over her shoulder because this book is now being published in English at 1,100 pages. We will not spend more than about an hour to see how psychoanalysis influenced education in Poland, the work of Korczak and other educators, how psychoanalysis influenced cultural thought in literary circles, how psychoanalysis also influenced therapy, and how psychoanalysis moved from a strictly medical model to a more therapeutic model that did not require the analysts to be medical doctors. And she'll be interviewed by Dr. Louis Barth, who taught at Hebrew Union College for many years and is an analyst. We look forward to welcoming all of you, and we'll have more details December 12th. What we have is many superlative thanks to you. I do want to add, Neal, that the last a piece that you shared with Vars, and especially the Mel Brooks piece, always cracks me up. I want to just pitch to Marek, is the Polish that Bancroft and Brooks speak or sing at all recognizable to somebody that speaks Polish?
In fact, it is quite understandable. They obviously got coached pretty heavily in Polish because their accent is near perfect, in fact. I was always surprised. I heard this a couple of times, and I was always surprised by how much they were able to capture of the original Polish. Yes.
They're brilliant. They must have spent some months because there are so many words and they make it seem so natural while they're tumbling over each other, doing acrobatics on the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just been a whole series of programs about Brooks at age 95. I will tell you, Neal, that there's another version of this where Mel is being interviewed and he calls Anne Bancroft out of the stage, and they do this same number impromptu that is a wonderful opportunity to add to your program.
No, I know that video and I appreciate it. I love it. It looks so much like the clip from the film. That's why I never show both of them.
I also want to note the beautiful song by Menachem Mirsky. And one of the things that he has outstandingly done not only with this song, but with many others, is this wonderful interweaving of Polish and Yiddish. He's often played these songs for his friends in Poland in Polish and asked them if they've heard this before. And they say, it sounds so familiar. And he says, well, here's the original. And he'll play it for them in Yiddish. And then they'll say how odd it is that they don't know how these two languages at one time were so intertwined and so connected to each other. We are wishing him well in his studies as he's completing his first semester of study in Israel. We have gone over time today, but a wonderful way to extend what was only possible for one day to last for 8 days. I hope that you will, Neal, receive our thanks and prepare another program for us. You have many programs of not only popular music, but art music up your sleeve. And we look forward to hosting you and enjoying your knowledge, your good bon vivant experience. And thank you so much for being a part of Freighted Legacies. I would turn to our friends who've watched us and remind you that this is a time of Hanukkah. And if you find your way to our website, either Beit Polska or Friends of Jewish Renewal in Poland, Jewish Renewal in Poland, be sure to support our work. We appreciate very much the support that is necessary to keep this work alive. We wish you a Chag Urim Sameach, a lichtige Hanukkah. All the best from Los Angeles. Marek?
And all the best from Warszawa or Varsha. Happy Hanukkah to all of you.
If I may interrupt also, I would like to wish everybody a Chag Hanukkah Sameach, happy Hanukkah. And even though I didn't include anything that was Hanukkah related, as was advertised by Rabbi Beliak, I guess one could say that my dedication to learning more about Polish-Yiddish tangos is connected to Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is all about dedication.
Very rabbinic, very good.
Thank you.